Welcome back. Welcome to our third segment. And in this segment, again, this is for week of March 23rd, 2024. We will review some of the trades of the week and the stocks and ETFs. As always, we like to look at the gaps. And as you can see, we've been nicely getting all the gaps filled, including we had a Wednesday gap up. And by end of the day, we closed half of the gap. And then on Friday, we closed the rest of it. And then we've been basically in a range bound. And then we finished. This was a little concerning. The last portion of the day, we really dropped. It's like a last 10, 15 minutes. So that's our gap play. But we also had our FOMC, and we usually have this 1, 2, 3. It is not as clean as it looks. If you use like 1 minute, it would have been a whipsaw. You would have probably stopped out. But if you are a little longer term in the sense of even if I use 10 minutes, I'm using a 5-minute chart. So you can see the announcement came in, the market really reacted. So this should have been your first move. The second move actually went nicely right to that our 50 bar moving average, and we bounced back, and the rest is history. So you want to be patient. I don't like to get the first wave. Sometimes I like to either play the second wave or the third wave. So if that was the case, you were getting a lot of confirmation at that time with the moving averages. But anyway, so it was not the cleanest, but it is what it's 1, 2, 3 FOMC trade. Bitcoin, as mentioned, it has been on fire, and then as you recall, this past week had a nice retracement. So I just want to look at it from the monthly on a linear regression. You see how we hit it last month. This month, we really had a nice move, but we are outside our 2 standard deviation, and that's where we are right now. And the month of March is not over yet. The same thing actually on a weekly basis. You see on 100, as far as the linear regression lines goes, we have been outside on a weekly basis. There's a doji last week, and then it came back. But on a 30, we are still in the mid-range. So basically, the potential is up. And speaking of that, I just want to share this trend line that we have. And we also have a 30-day support. So we might go down probably to this area, maybe 61,000 or so. So we'll see if we can find support here. So I just want to give you food for thought that if it finds a support here, then we will continue our trend, our movement. If not, then just, we're going to go to the next support, right? And again, we were at around 50 to 53,000 area. We were back and forth, and then we finally broke out. As a matter of fact, a while back, we felt that there was a nice bull flag and it will break out. But our objective was right around here, and then he kept building these longer bull flags, and here it just continued. But anyway, so just a little trade on that. One last thing when it comes, these are just ideas that you might want to explore more. And this is our wheat. And I noticed that, we've had this nice support, double bottom, and we just broke above the 18-day moving average. Of course, we need confirmation of 2 bars. So this might be, if you play futures, this might be a good play. And you see the divergence in when it comes to stochastics. We had the higher high in the stochastics, and we became oversold while we have the double bottom here. So anyway, just a food for thought. ETF of the week. Well, Argentina was the outperformer. They were up 7.5% for the week, and there are a couple of companies like YPF, which is their oil company, was up like 12.3%. The Chinese stocks, the Golden Dragon China, was down 3% this past week. Also, the MSCI Israel ETF was up 5.4%, while the rare earth and strategic metals REMX was down 1.7%. Speaking of Bitcoin, I just just shared a couple of them. They're cash ones. These are more of the futures. Uh, but look at the volume. I just want to share that. It's 14.7 million. This is Bido. And you see, again, we have broken below the 20-day moving average. We have support here. This is, you can see it's pretty liquid. You can play options. You can short this. But rather than shorting it, if you want to actually do the reverse and you think the markets in Bitcoin could go down, and let's say you hold the Bitcoin and you want to hedge it, well, you have BITI, which is 9 million shares had changed hands this on Friday, and we broke right above the 20 days. So you can play, again, there's options, it's shortable. So that's a food for thought. Last couple of weeks, I've been talking about NVIDIA, or 2 or 3 weeks, and I compared it to SMCR and mentioned about this engulfing candle. And what we suggested, it likes to go hit the support and usually bounces back. And we can see how we went and hit that 20-day moving average and bounced back. Now, the question is it, we have this trend line. Is it possible just easily can hit $1,000? And I mentioned, as far as a lot of portfolio managers might be doing some kind of a window dressing. We'll see that. And if they did that, will we have a nice profit taking after that? So just a food for thought. Let's just watch that. Also, the value of Hakinashi. When you look at Hakinashi, you see how clean that is. I mean, watch this. We see that one red candle, but then immediately after that, it was reversed. So compare that to this. This looks pretty noisy. This looks pretty clean. So by just looking at that, you see there's a consolidation here. And we are nicely above the 20 exponential moving average. So that would have kept you in the markets without you to whips out. And the last but not least, again, that remember a couple of weeks ago we had the earnings, huge move to outside expected move. This week we actually did close outside this expected move. So as far as the squeeze plays, I chose mid cap 400. There's some really good stocks here, from the home builders to some of medical. And I think there's a lot of good setups in the technical side. Not a lot of earnings, but still there's some interesting ones. I've talked about McCormick, the spice company, Carnival Cruise, and also we want to watch Paychex and Walgreens. With that in mind, I appreciate your attention. I hope you have a wonderful week, a prosperous and successful week ahead. So thank you so much, and we'll talk to you soon.